Hi everyone, it's always a great joy to be able to come to your homes through this way of online teaching. I am Daud Ali from Shivjyoti Educational Group, your teacher for today's lesson. I hope you are having a good time, and if you are not, then you will have now, because I have brought for you today adverbs, which means we are going to make this day an English grammar day. And an English grammar day can be tough sometimes. So I need you to pay attention and listen carefully, because that is the key to make everything super easy. Ready? Set? Let's go. Chapter 14, Adverbs. So adverbs are those words which describe verbs, another adjectives, or another adverbs. Alright? This is the definition that you need to write in the exams to score good marks. Adverbs are words that modify a verb, another adjective, or another adverb. Now you may wonder, how do adverbs do that? We are going to have a look of the further slides. How are adverbs formed? First of all, we will talk about how we form adverbs. And most adverbs are formed from adjectives by adding ly. So adverbs, we just learned here that adverbs are formed from adjectives only by adding ly. And how do we do that? We are going to have a look. Very clever is adjective. We have added ly, and this has now become adverb. Clever, cleverly. Similarly, sharp is an adjective here. We have added ly, and it has now become adverb. Clever, cleverly. Sharp, sharply. Interesting, interestingly. Slow, slowly. So these are all adjectives and these are all adverbs. That is how we form adverbs. But this is not always the case. Sometimes things may be different. Yes, sometimes things may be different. If the adjective ends in y, the final y is replaced with ily. As we can see here, lazy, this word ends in y. So we are going to replace this y with ily, and we will make it lazily. Adjective, adverb. Lazy, lazily. Happy, happily. Alright? We will now go further. If the adjective ends with a consonant followed by le, the final e is replaced with y. For example, comfortable, you can see and this ends with a consonant and le is also there. So we will replace this le with y. Comfortable, this will become comfortably. Horrible, horribly. Terrible, terribly. We have more to study about adverbs. There are some exceptions to it which you need to keep in mind. If you wish to score good marks in exams, you can see he is an elderly person. Here, this is not adverb, this is adjective. What a lonely life she leads. This is an adjective, not adverb. The stranger was very friendly. Friendly is an adjective here. This is not an adverb. So it's very important to be able to make out the difference between an adverb and an adjective, because sometimes you may be really confused. So I'm going to tell you a very important thing. Please listen carefully. It's going to always help you. Why this is an adjective? This is an adjective, this is an adjective, this is an adjective. These three words are all adjectives, they are not adverb. This is a case of exception. But generally, if you want to recognize, the best way to find out is adjective is always used to describe a noun or pronoun. He is an elderly person. This word elderly has been used to describe he, which is a pronoun. So adjectives are always used to describe nouns or pronouns. What a lonely life she leads, talking about the life of this lady, she. So we have used this lonely for this pronoun. Similarly, the stranger was very friendly. Stranger is a noun. For this noun we have used this adjective. So adjectives are always used for nouns and pronouns, while adverbs are used to describe other verbs, other adjectives, or other adverbs. Adverbs not formed from adjectives. Now there are certain adverbs which are not formed from adjectives. Few minutes ago we learned about the adverbs that are formed from adjectives. Now we are going to focus, now we are going to learn the adverbs which are not formed from adjectives. Yes, there exist such adverbs, and they are adverbs of places, here and there, adverbs of time, now, then, soon, yet, adverbs of frequency, often, never, sometimes. So these are the adverbs that are not formed from adjectives. Now we are going to go through this little exercise so that you will be able to understand adverbs in a better way. We are filling the blanks with the correct words from the brackets. One has been done for you. The students were asked to go directly to the principal's office. First one has been done for us already. We are going to have a look of the second one now. Can we do this? Let's see. Shreya dash goes out for dinner on weekdays. What should be the right answer? What will be the appropriate adverb? Shreya hardly goes out for dinner on weekdays. This is the right answer. We are going to talk about number 3 now. My father will be back home from office. Can you think the answer on your own? Try to think. Yes, you can. Shortly is the right answer. My father will be back home from office shortly. Number 4. Dash Nita has been watching too many television programs. What should be the right answer? Can you think? Yes, try to think. Come on, come on. Yes. Right answer is lately. Lately, Nita has been watching too many television programs. We are going to do this 5th one, and then the rest of them you will have to do on your own. Dash, nobody suffered serious injuries in the accident. Fortunately is the right answer. Fortunately, nobody suffered serious injuries. Alright, this is the adverb which we have to use, because this is not an adverb at all. Now we will talk about confusing adverbs. There are some adverbs which may be really confusing. For example, enough or to. Some of you may think that both of them have same meaning. Both of them lead to same meaning. But to much of your surprise, you are not right, because there is a difference between them, and we are going to learn that enough or to. Some of you may think both of them have same meaning, both of them lead to same meaning, but you know, this is not right. Both of them are different, and they have, you know, what is the difference between them? We are going to learn. The child is smart enough to solve any problem. The house is spacious enough to accommodate all the guests. So here we can see number 1 difference between enough and to, that enough is used in positive sense and to is used in negative sense. This is the case most of the times, but not all the times. This was difference number 1. We will talk about second major difference between them. It's very easy. Try to remember it like this. Enough means sufficient. To means excessive, too much. Alright, we will see the sentence related to to now. The road is too narrow for the vehicle to pass through. The room is too dark for me to see things clearly. So clearly we can see this has negative sense, this has positive sense. Also, this means sufficient, and this means too much or excessive. So do not ever be confused about them. We are now going to continue with confusing adverbs. Fairly or rather, we will talk about fairly or rather now. She is fairly sensible in her behavior. My sister paints fairly well and has taken part in many competitions. So the same difference is here also between fairly and rather. Fairly fairly has a positive point of view and rather has a negative point of view. He tries rather hard to hide his true feelings. Mother was rather irritated by Nilima's attitude. So we can see clearly the difference between them. This has been used for negative purpose, this has been used for positive purpose. Quite. Now we will talk about this adverb quite. The weather is quite pleasant. We can go out for a stroll, which means the weather is not very pleasant but more than a little pleasant. More than a little pleasant. So quite has this quite can have two meanings. Number one, completely. Number two, more than just a little. Alright? The sums were quite easy. I could solve them all, which means the sums were completely easy that I could solve them all in 10 seconds. Although I can never do that. Maths is a very difficult subject for me. Alright, so or such. These are also some adverbs. They are mainly used to emphasize on sentences. When I wish to emphasize something, I use so or such, because that is the way these adverbs are used. The story was so interesting that I couldn't stop reading it. So we wish to emphasize here that how interesting the story was, that I just couldn't stop reading it. So for the purpose of emphasizing, we use so and such. You have such a lovely garden. Here we wish to say that your garden is very, very lovely. So both so and such, they are used for emphasizing. And adverbs, we are going to have a look of this exercise now. First, fill in the blanks with quite, enough, too, fairly, rather. One has been done for you. The furniture was too flimsy to be durable. We will talk about number two. The candidate was fairly well experienced to be appointed. Number three, the tenants were dash, taken aback by the behavior of the landlord. Could you try to think of the answer of this question on your own? Yes, please try to think. Give it a try. I know you can do it. The tenants were rather taken aback by the behavior of the landlord. So I believe you can do the rest of them on your own. All the very best. Exercise, rewrite these sentences using the adverbs in brackets in the correct places. One has been done for you. Beena borrows things from her friends. Beena never borrows things from her friends. So adverbs, we can use adverbs in the beginning of the sentence, at the end of the sentence, in the middle of the sentence. This is what we are going to learn with the help of this exercise. So please pay attention and listen carefully. Meeta is talking to her cousin. Always is in the bracket. So where should we put this always? Meeta is always talking to her cousin. That is the right answer. The teacher tells us the story if she is in a good mood. Sometimes, where should we put this sometimes? The teacher sometimes tells us a story if she is in a good mood. Okay, I believe the author communicates with his fans regularly. We will put regularly at the end of the sentence. So this is it with this exercise, and this is it for today. Thank you for joining me.